Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome. Whoops, hold on. I gotta turn on the volume from my iPad. So this is video number 4 for me. Welcome. This is my final video for the night, but we have 2 more challenges that we'll be posting every hour on the hour. I wanted to mention to you guys, I forgot in my other 2 videos, that I do have free project sheets for all of the videos I've done so far, except for the bonus video that I kind of just snuck in there. So you can either scroll down on the Facebook page to find the file, or you can go up top to the file section and you'll see these there. So this was the first set of cards that I did with the designer paper strips. The second one, same layers 4 ways. And the one I'm doing tonight, which I'm not going to show you a picture just yet, you'll have a sheet, because my video tonight is going to be a 3D item. I thought I'd finish out with a 3D item. Let me just show you the products I'm using first, and then I'll show you the project. I'm using the Plentiful Plants stamp set, Perfect Plants dies, the Bloom Where You Are Planted designer paper that goes with this bundle, and then Encircled in Warmth, and I'm using this large stamp, You Warm My Heart. And on the Encircled in Friendship, I'm just using stamps on this. I'm using the You're the Best stamp image. And let me see what else I've got. I've got some gilded gems. I've got the braided ribbon. Look how pretty this is. It's got gold running through it. For ink colors, I have Just Jade and Cinnamon Cider. And I'm going to show you my project. So my 3D project for tonight is a mini photo album. This is the front. I made a little buckle enclosure here that goes on there with Velcro dots. And you open it. I'm going to lay it flat so you guys can see exactly how it lays. So it lays this way, and then you just pick it up and pull. I probably won't be able to fit the whole thing on the screen. So these are pictures of my grandkids. And then if you flop it over, there's 3 more on this side, and then 3 more on this side. Isn't that neat? So that's what I'm showing you how to create tonight for my last video. Now I'm going to give you the measurements as I go, because there's so many layers. And then of course, now that you've seen my project, you'll see that I have the free project sheet, and I have all photos of all of the steps, all of the measurements, and close-up photos of each square. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start out with Just Jade cardstock, which is for the album itself. And this measures 7.5 by 4. Oh, hold on a minute. That's the designer paper. Just Jade 7 3/4 by 4 1/4. Designer paper 7.5 by 4. And I'm actually going to glue this on first, and then I'm going to score. So I'm going to center that over my Just Jade cardstock. I gotta hold for a second. My beagle Ruger is right beside me. He's driving me nuts. I gotta go shut the door to my room. I'll be right back. Come on. Okay, I won't be able to get anything done. Now, for this piece, I'm actually going to score at 3 5/8. I'm going to use the big ball so I can go through both layers. 3 5/8. Oh, wait a minute. 5/8. I already messed up. 3 5/8. I'm going to flip this over so I can flatten this out. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over and do 3 5/8 again. So you're creating like a little book. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to have to bring it back in. just easier to score through both pieces. So now we have our little album. So the next step, we're going to do the outside, the front cover first with these 2 layers. And I have cinnamon cider 3.5 by 2 3/4, basic white 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping first using cinnamon cider ink. And this sentiment just barely fits on here. I had to leave enough room there for my little buckle to go around. So this just barely fits on here. Okay, there's my sentiment. I'm going to glue that on my cinnamon cider cardstock. And then I'm going to add stamping dimensionals. And what's great about this, you can make it ahead of time, give it away as a gift. You can either put photos in it yourself or the recipient could put their own photos. Now I'm going to glue this so that it's even with the score line and centered. So there's the first part. I just want to see. Okay, I glued my ribbon first. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, no, I didn't. I have to add that. I have to add that piece in there. Okay, scratch that. Next step is the 2 designer paper pieces. They're going to go on the inside. Those measure 3 1/4 by 4. So we're going to have 1 in each, on each flap on the inside. And what I watch for is I made sure that my designer papers were cut the same. So make sure this little piece right here goes on the bottom so they match up. Okay, so that's the inside cover. Now we're going to work on these little pieces right here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my scoring tool again. And this time we have 2 pieces that measure 9 1/2 by 3. Those are going to be the 2 flaps that you saw me open up for you. We're going to score at 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, and 9. And you'll see here how those fold like a Z. So we're going to go this way, fold on the score lines. I'm going to press down, and it's going to open this way. Same thing on this one. And then what we're going to do is actually overlap. I do have to fold a little tab over also. We're going to overlap the 2 little tabs, so I'm going to use tear and tape. This would be cute to do with one of the kids or the grandkids too. They would love this project. Okay, so those are overlapped on top of each other. Now we're going to glue it to the inside. So I'm going to flip that over. And once I glue that on the inside, then I add the ribbon around the whole thing. So just make sure you line up the score lines. It's going to go right in the center. Then we're going to bring the ribbon in. Tie that around the whole thing. I gotta make sure my ribbon's flat. And I'm gonna tie a bow a little bit longer. You guys, I'm tired. It's 9 p.m. here in Maine. Had a really good day with you guys, but I am tired. And I'm going to make my bows a little smaller. Trim the ribbon. Now, one little tip that I always do on something like this, I don't want this bow to come apart. So I'm going to actually take my liquid glue. I'm going to go underneath here and just add a little bit of glue around the knot. And that way it'll dry and that bow won't come apart. Okay, so that's it for the front and the ribbon on the inside. Now we're going to start decorating. So I'm going to flip this over to the front. And instead of giving you the measurements for everything at once, I'm going to do one square at a time. I am going to show you the designer paper that I use though. So you have 12 different squares. So you need 12 white pieces. And those measure 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So again, I'm going to do this first set. Got a lot of pieces to glue down. So there's number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Now the stamp set, if you did not get the designer paper, the stamp set, you have the same images here that I used out of the designer paper. So you can do either or. I chose to use the designer paper. Now these are my 12. On the designer paper, I chose 2 patterns and I have 4 that are 12.5 or 2.5 by 2.5. You can tell I'm tired. 2.5 by 2.5. And the second pattern, I have 7 that are 2.5 by 2.5 because this one doesn't have designer paper. So I've gone ahead and cut the medallion, and you know what? I forgot to take those dies out. It's the ones that go with the encircled in warmth. They have the different medallions. This is cinnamon cider. I'm just going to glue that on the first square. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to make sure that it's not on the score line. Whoops. I slipped. Okay, that goes right there. I just want to make sure that's going to close. Then I have a circle that I cut with the layering circles. This measures 1 3/8. I'm going to grab the Just Jade ink and You're the Best. It's going to go right in the center. Now, one tip about the album, make sure you glue everything flat. You don't want to use dimensionals. I know I love my dimensionals, but you don't want this to be too bulky. Now we're going to move on to square number 2, which would be this pattern. There's 4 of these because we have 4 flaps and they go in the middle, so you just need 4. So that's going to go right there. Now I'm going to bring in what I need for the remainder. I have all my flaps separated. So this is where you would put a photo, and the photo layer measures 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and then your picture itself, the photo, would be 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Now remember, on my first video, I told you guys all of the projects that I created today. I'm going to draw a door prize for everything that I created. So you have my first set of cards that I did with the strips, my sponging technique that I showed you. There's 4 cards in that one. And then my bonus video had 3. And then whoever I pick is also going to win this little album. So I'm going to go by the comments from this video only for my door prize. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and glue the little plant pot. Oops, wait a minute. I forgot my designer paper. So this is pattern number 2. So all of the comments and all of the shares, I'm going to pick a winner for all of the projects that I created with you today. And all of the drawings that we have, the winners will be announced sometime tomorrow. Okay, there's side number 1 already. So now we're gonna flip over to side number 2. And we're going to do the same thing with the 3 whites. I need to move that over so you can see. The worst part about this project is cutting all the squares. You have so many squares to cut out. But it's so worth it. It's such a nice project. Okay, there's my 3 on this side. And remember that I used this designer paper on the center one, so I'm going to do the same thing on this flap. And then 2 like this. And what I tried to do on this one, I tried to make it flow so that you can see that the 2 end pieces kind of match. These 2 pieces love you so very much. They kind of go into each other. It's a continuous thing. Okay, there's my 3rd designer paper. Now I got to bring in, let me see which one. That would be this one. There's so many pieces that I had to separate them out this way. Okay, here's the piece for the photo. So that goes on the middle one. And we've got the little plant. And I have a little piece here that measures 2 1/4 by 1. I just thought I'd add that one to break up the designer paper a little bit. And we've got this plant. Now, some of these pieces that you see were cut with the dies, but some of them I had to hand cut that did not have dies with them. Okay, there's the 2nd square. Now we're going to build this one. So we've got the plant pot with the plant. And I just tuck that under. And we've got this cute little succulent. And now I'm going to stop and do the sentiment with cinnamon cider. And I can do both of these on the same. This is a 1/2 inch basic white. I'm going to do them on the same strip and just cut it. Okay, let me bring my paper cutter in. And I really want to add dimensionals, but I can't. It has to be flat. I'm going to tuck this under the leaf. Okay, so there's that one. So there's side number 2. Now we're moving over to side number 3. And let me get 3 more whites. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to see, like I said, another post at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and another post at 11, which I will be in bed. But I have them all pre-scheduled. There's a few more challenges for you guys. And none of the challenges that have posted so far for door prizes, none of them are closed. You guys can create all night because I know it's still early for some of you guys. So continue to create. Okay, one more in the middle. Wouldn't this make a great class? If you have everything cut up for everyone and then they just have to glue everything in place. It's really easy. Okay, last one on this side. Now let me get the right section, which is this one here. I don't need that because I already did my sentiment. Let me just dig these out. so now I need to add the little brick wall over on this side because we had one at the other end. And let's see, that's this plant. And the little white square for the photo. And then we've got these little pieces for the last one. So let me bring these over. Might as well do the glue on the sentiment. Okay, so now we have the plant. Tuck that in. The succulent, I put it behind this time. And then, love you so very much. Okay, so there's number 2 flap. Number 3, we've got one more to go. Let me flip this over. So these are the last 3 pieces of white. And I just want to say thank you for everybody that attended today. It was great interacting with everyone. I hope you guys all had fun. And we hope to do this again next year, but maybe we'll do one partway through. We'll do something different. Okay, here's my designer paper with the greenery. It goes right in the middle. Maybe we could do like a half day type thing, or afternoon. Okay, there's piece number 2. We're almost done, you guys. You just gotta finish these flaps and then add the buckle and we're done. Okay, let me grab my other pieces. And again, this one is for the photo. So there's room here for 4 pictures. You could even put some on these flaps if you wanted to. Okay, now I need this one and these 2. Oh, Rhonda's saying everyone did a good job. I'm so happy to hear that. Don't I have an awesome team? They did such a good job. Okay, we're gonna tuck 2 of these branches this time. And the last one. Now, one little tip on this one, because the plant pot is rounded right there. So when I cut the little greenery piece, I kind of rounded the edge there, so it looks like it fits right there. Whoops, wait a minute. I need to cut it a little bit more because I don't want that to go off on the scored line. There we go. Okay, so let's review the pieces. So just you can see where the picture goes right here on number 1, number 2, and number 3. Look at that picture. Isn't she a cutie? They're all cute. And number 4 picture. Now, when it folds, I like the way it folds. It just folds together and it meets in the middle. You're going to put that in the closed position. Now we just need to do the buckle. And you need the Velcro dots. And this is from the Everyday Label Punch. And I need to bring my score tool in one more time. And what I did is I just scored it at 1. And flip it around and score it at 1 again. So then you fold it on the score lines. This is what it looks like. We're going to glue just the half up to the score line on the back side. You need to center that. I'm just going to hold that for a second. Now I'm going to add the Velcro dot right there. I'm going to take the other piece, put it right where it needs to go. And then there's my buckle. Whoops, I need to go a little straighter. There we go. And then we get some gilded gems. I'm going to leave this one open. And what I did with the gilded gems, I used a big one right there in the middle and the next size over right there. And there is my project, my little mini photo album. How cool is that? I hope you guys can see all of that in the camera. So what do you think? Don't forget to comment. And again, tomorrow morning, I'm going to pick a name to win all of the projects that I created today. So you're going to have a lot of projects. So again, thanks so much for joining us all day today. And look for 2 more posts, and then we're going to call it a night. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning sometime, and I will announce all the winners. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.